Well, hello guys, my name is Nick from Nickstoygarage and welcome to another build-off against Jason from DieCastRestos. Last time we did Citroën cars, this time we decided to go Majorette cars and more in particular German cars. He has a beautiful Mercedes to restore and I have this BMW 7 Series. It's a 733, the number 256, and there it is in nice red. Link to his channel and his video is going to be in the description down below. Make sure to go and check him out and let me know how he did, because I cannot wait to see his video. Last time he absolutely killed it and I'm sure he's going to do even better this time. So let me know how he did and let him know how I did. So let's take a look at this magnificent looking BMW. There's a little bit of clay, I hope, on the bottom of this car. It has a nice sticker on the bonnet, obviously that's not staying, and it has a nice detailed interior. It's a little bit too bad that the window is yellow, but we cannot really do anything about that one. The wheels are missing quite a lot of paint, but I have a kind of cool solution for that one that will really suit this thing. Now on camera you see that the model is a little bit bent. The pillars, not the pillars, the underside was bent open, so I took my hammer and just smacked it until it was straight again. Then I take my drill, drilled out the base, and it just snapped open, and I don't even have to use my handy dandy screwdriver. Really sorry for that one. Next, the models, well, the axles just lift wide open, and there is the appearance. I scared you for a bit, but there is the appearance of my handy dandy screwdriver, taking out the spring so the other axle can be removed easily. So next, the interior and the towing hook cover comes right out, and last but not least, the windshield and the taillights. I love how Majorette included the taillights into the actual window. It looks really good. Now normally you can take out the doors, but for the sandblasting step I decided to leave them in so they don't just fly off and will never be found again, because that wouldn't be good. So this is my sandblasting cabinet. It takes me about 1 minute to take off all the paint, and usually this thing works quite good. Next, when all the paint from the model itself and inside the doors is removed, I take the base and try to blast off the last remainders of that stubborn clay. Now when that is all done, there's a little bit of paint left on the model itself. These Majorette cars are a little bit more notorious of leaving paint, so I just decided to use my old and trusted paint stripper, the thing I used when I just started the channel, still had a can laying around. Take my paintbrush and just paint on a little bit of that paint stripper, obviously wearing gloves, but this stuff hurts when you leave it on your skin. Obviously, this takes about 1 or 2, I think I leave it 5 minutes even, and the paint just flies right off. I don't do it for all the paint because it just leaves a mess, so that's why I like my sandblasting cabinet a lot more. After a couple minutes, I just use the same paintbrush to wipe off the paint, and then my mom's pajama pants. I know everybody missed it, this is my mom's pajama pants, to remove the remainder of the paint and give it a nice bath, so there's no paint stripper left on this model. There were little imperfections on the trunk itself, so just a little bit of sanding paper, coarse first and then a little bit finer, just removes those fine little scratches. When that's all done, it's time for the primer. Now for primer, I'm using a fine surface primer by Tamiya in grey, doing 3 coats, 1 with the doors open, 2 with the doors closed, to get a nice and even coverage, leaving between 15 to 20 minutes to dry between coats. When that is all dried, I move on to the next step of this restoration, and that is the base. There you can see all the clay has been removed, but there are quite a lot of imperfections. Normally I wouldn't bother with this, but because this one has to be perfect, I got some silver paint from the Action, the dollar store, or how we would call it in Belgium, and painted in nice silver. Now for the actual color, I decided to go with a nice white color. There you can see me putting on the white. Again, 3 coats, 1 of the doors open, 2 of the doors closed, to get a nice and even coverage. And yes, the BMW is going to be a nice white car. Again, leaving 20 minutes to dry between coats. There you can see me put on the final coat with the doors closed. No, I wasn't that satisfied with the end result, so I took a little bit of sanding paper and I wet sanded the entire car and giving it one more coat of white off camera. Next, it's time for the fine details. Now, I have my chrome marker that broke. I have been sent a new one since, so in the next video you will see me use it again. But because at the time of making this video I didn't have one, so there's still my old method of toothpick and my nice silver paint. So I paint in the trunk release, the number plate and I think the 733 logo. And obviously the door handles, the 4 door handles, 2 on either side of the car. Next, it's time for the next detail. It's a nice blue. I was debating on doing the blue and silver logo, but that just wasn't, it's just too small. So I decided to go with a nice blue. It's a little bit too dark, I have to admit, but it just sets the logo apart of the BMW. One in the front and one in the back. Next, it's time for the taillights. I did a really light coat on these taillights. So when the light actually hits them, they're still kind of transparent. You don't see it that much, but I don't really have any other means of making them red and still be transparent. If you have any suggestion, leave me how to do it in the comment section down below. Next, it's time to do the interior. Gonna leave the color the same, so because I like a nice brown interior in a white car. It just looks really good. So a quick little wash with my hot soapy water and my toothbrush. And the model comes, well, the interior comes back to life. Then I take my oversized scissors and snap off the tow hook cover because that didn't look well at all. Next, it's time to polish the windshields, just a little bit of elbow grease and it looks like new again. Then it's time for something I like to do quite a lot lately, and that's to paint the inside of the door cards in the same, well, kind of the same color as the interior. And when you open the doors, you'll see it in the last shot, it will just look like it's supposed to be that, well, that color. It looks really good and I like it a lot. Next, it's time for the reassembly. So there you can see the base, and I actually tried to lower the car entirely. How I did that, I took an old axle that I don't use anymore and I just slid it in the place of the axle. So the axle itself, well, the actual BMW axle, will sit a little bit higher than originally, so the car looks lowered and it looks good, if I do say so myself. So when the axle is in place, I just quickly glue it in place, and when the glue dries, I continue. Next, the wheels. They look horrible, so I have a solution for that. Let's just make it. You can see the paint is just gone, so let's do it away. And when it comes back, they're nice and black. I did not go for the original chrome-ish, silverish wheels. I kept them original, but I just painted them black, so it would really set off the white of the car itself. Next, the reassembly, so the wheels and axles go back into place. Then it's time to fit the spring, just in the front, there we go, one side in, and then use all my chicken force to press in the other side, and they just snap into place really nicely, making sure the model can still roll, obviously, and the wheels don't hit the body or the base. Next, the windows and the taillights go back in, nice and easy. After that, the interior goes right back into place. And last but not least, the base. Now making sure the steering wheel itself is tucked in, because that's something that gets hooked up sometime. But when that's done, I just hook in the back and snap in the front and finish off with a self-tapping screw to finish the model, so it can easily be taken apart again in the future if I ever have to do it. So let's take a look at it before the restoration. It was well, it was red with a sticker and it just didn't look right to me at all. and let's take a look at it. Have the restoration right now. Look at it, it's white, it has painted door cards, black wheels, and I love it. So please go to DieCastRestos channel in the description down below to check out his video. And I obviously want to do a special thanks to all my patrons. Please leave a like, subscribe, and hope to see you in a future video. Bye.